All right. So we named ours Jukebox Robot. Got code in his eyes. It's basically, we wanted to code something that you choose one of songs and it'll just play the song on our Arduino buzzer. And it's a lot more complicated than you would think. So the only thing you need is the Arduino and the buzzer itself. And it's just not that much wiring. It's pretty simple. But what we had to do is we had to read the music sheets, and then translate that into the code. We had to use tone. There was no libraries that we needed just for this. It does have interference with other libraries, the IR sensor, I believe. So if you do that, then you would have to use the tone player library. But what we had to do is we had to read the music sheets and write down what notes was and how long it was. And I believe you know more about that than I do.
I do. So what I would do is I would take the music note, I would figure out where it was on the staff, as you do, and then I would figure out how long it was going to have to last for, and each song has a different beat per minute, so I'd have to calculate that. So then I'd write it all down in the code. I'd write it in one of the functions. So in the beginning I defined them here. You can't read it. Just imagine one's like whole note, half note, quarter, rest, or not rest, quarter, 16th, onward, so on and so forth, odd quarter note, all those good stuff. And then later on, I would define what each of those meant based upon beats per minute. So for example, running in the 90s had beats per minute of 160, which means it gets 160 beats per minute. So then I would have to address that differently than say Backstreet Boys, where it was a lot slower, and I believe it was either 60 or 90 beats per minute. So then each one would have to have a larger value. So I did that for each different song. And then the other thing I did was I switched up the delay in between notes, because if you just play it, it sounds kind of like garbage, because it just plays it in one long note like you're just going like this. So there has to be a tiny delay in between notes. So then I also changed that depending on beats per minute. It's just kind of like an estimate. So like, careful. For Backstreet Boys, because it's the slower song, it was just a delay of 20 milliseconds. But then for running in the 90s, I did 15. So it's not a drastic difference, but I don't know, it's a difference. And then, so when you type something in, it'll bring up your,
The beat function, is that?
No,
so,
it's like the debug block, but
oh, okay.
Not called that.
The serial monitor?
Yes, thank you. The serial monitor. So you would bring up that, and it says type in a number, and he coded all that part.
So for the menu, it's just we use the serial rate for that, and it's just you enter in one of our values. We have it just 0 to 1, or starts at 1, goes through 9 or whatever, and then it will start playing that song. We have that all within a function. So it will, like let's say you press 1 to play Smooth Criminal, then that will go to the Smooth Criminal function, and that will play the entire song. And once that's done, it will go back to the menu, so you can just play it repeatedly. So that's how you chose the song. And how you play each note, we added a beat function, which you enter in 2 values, the note, which is which tone you want it to play at and how long, and then it'll play that. Just to do that, because it's a total of like 4 lines of code for each note, and so that just shortened it greatly. For our problems, the main problems that we encountered with this is the amount of time it took just to do that. So the more beats per minute for song, the more it took, because that's just how many more notes that you have to put in. So running in the 90s took.
So yeah, running in the 90s took a lot of time, because it's a lot of, since it's mainly made of 16th notes, and a lot of them, it goes on. There's like in each measure that would mean a lot of notes. It wasn't fun. It was worth it though, in the end.
And then just another problem we wanted to make sure that we didn't encounter is running out of room. We didn't want to use too much of the data or memory on the Arduino, since there is a limited amount of space. So that's mainly why we use the beat function, and then we also wanted to keep on checking to make sure we didn't run into that problem and didn't have to be, so that way we didn't do a lot at once, then we checked it, and then we have to get rid of most of it. So we made sure we didn't do that. Potential other uses for this is just for the amount of time that it took for this, we don't think it'd be quite useful just for songs, but if you wanted to do like a one note or it uses a high-pitched sound and you wanted to use that with a remote from far away, this would be a good way to do that. And instead of using the serial monitor, you would just use the IR sensor, and then you would have to use the tone library for that. And then mainly for the conclusion for this, we think it was a lot of fun to do this, and it took a lot of time. We think it was really worth it just from the end result of being able to just enter in one and then only play a song you spent 2 hours trying to put in there. It was a lot of that, but we don't think it's like too useful at the end, but we think it could be useful with other uses.
You can get a better effect from just buying an iPod shuffle.
Yeah, because that way you can sit here
Basically what it is.
every note, because if it plays like, if the song has 2 notes at once, which Running the 90s did, then you don't get the real effect of the song.
Yeah, it sounds off. It sounds really weird because we didn't use 2 buzzers, we only used 1. We didn't think to use 2 like Gavin did. So it's got to one-up us. But yeah, so it doesn't, a lot of songs play 2 notes at the same time. And this one only can play 1 note at a time, so then it sounds a little offbeat at times, but it works out in the end. So yeah, I think we're ready for our demonstration.
I have a question before you demo. You wrote a lot of code.
Yeah.
If you were to do it again, how could you simplify that part?
Well, I don't know. That's where I guess we could have used more arrays.
Yeah.
But I don't know, in the long run, it'd still be about the same amount because the problem wasn't how long it took to code it. It was how long it took to read the music then code it. So
Yeah.
it'd still be the same in that I would have to figure out like how long it, or what note came after which note. But yeah, we could have shortened the code a little bit, but it still would have been about the same amount of work.
And another problem would be just a lot of songs, some measures repeat, but a lot of measures don't repeat. So it's
Yeah.
hard, it's difficult to come up with a solution that if it doesn't repeat and it's completely new, how do you prepare for that?
Was every note a wavelength? I didn't look at. You used a numerical wavelength value for
Yes,
every
we
note?
did for the frequency.
Okay. Yeah, frequency, I should say. Okay. All right, let's plug it in. See how it goes.
Will it work like great with the library?
Let's hope so. No, I'm gonna download it. Oh, that's all right. I have a library. What is it, Tumblr?
Yeah.
I think I have a library.